Hey there, this is Seth Juarez from Channel 9 coming to you from our beautiful Channel 9 studios. We are festooned with MVP logos. I'm pretty excited. I have a special guest. Tell us who you are and what you do, my friend.
My name is Nassim Tafaha, and I lead the communities work at Microsoft.
Fantastic. So like I said, we're festooned. I just wanted to use that word a couple of times. With MVP signage, we're talking about MVPs. What's new?
Well, we have a series of updates that we're making that we want to share with the community. Going back a little over a year, we made some changes to the core structure of the program, and now we're excited to make further updates that we think are going to help out our MVPs.
So are there some areas that we're focusing on? Or
two main areas.
Okay.
One is we're trying to make the program itself more flexible and more agile, and also really invest in the learning that our MVPs do to stay on the leading edge and continue to develop their expertise.
Fantastic. So let's start with agility. Are we going to make people run faster, or what's going on here?
Well, it'll be hard to make you run faster, but really when I say agility, we've had some things that haven't been really fast and responsive. So for example, if you're wanting to become an MVP, or often our best referrals come from existing MVPs,
Sure.
Depending on our quarterly process, that candidate might need to wait up to 5 months for a decision around their new status and whether they'll be an MVP. We're now going from that model to a monthly model. We want to be very agile, very responsive. So if nominations are made, we now have a process, and our tools are going to be reconfigured so that we can make that decision on a monthly basis. And so actually, as of February 1st, there are a whole new set of candidates who just came to us in January, and we think that's the kind of model that we need going forward.
That's pretty aggressive. So we're looking at new MVPs every month.
Every month.
That's amazing. And so that's awesome, because now people that are thinking about becoming an MVP have 12 opportunities every year to do so.
That's right.
So the first question that they're going to have is, okay, what do I need to do to become an MVP?
That's right. And that's a great question. And a lot of MVPs have been asking us that question. So we've tried to become more clear. It has been a bit of a black box. So on our website, we profile 5 pretty different MVPs. Some are doing a great job in speaking at a lot of events. Others contribute code. Others help in forums online. Others produce great content. Others are instrumental in providing feedback to our product team. So there's kind of those 5 general areas. And when we highlight these MVPs, we show the level of contribution that they're making. There isn't an absolute number of anything, but we think when people read through this page and these profiles, they'll have a much better sense of what does it mean to really be very distinguished and most valuable in a particular area.
That's awesome. So MVPs, if you want to become an MVP, you have 12 opportunities. There's some literature out there that tells you how you can become it. But now if I'm an existing MVP,
That's right.
What does that mean, right? Because the new MVPs are coming in every month. Does that mean that there's renewals every month? Tell us about that.
Right. So we're not doing it every month. We're actually doing it every year.
Okay.
So we're shifting from a quarterly cycle to an annual cycle. And we've had these kind of distinctions in the program. We split up MVPs almost into 4 groups. And some would say, I'm the January MVP. Oh, I'm an April MVP. And that ends up creating complications. So for example, our global summit, right, which has happened in November. If you were an October MVP, you were often wondering about your status and whether you'd be renewed. But you were more alone in that bucket, while the January MVPs didn't have to worry about that. Now we'll all go to one cycle, one annual review cycle. So it'll be simple and clear for everybody.
So for the purpose of clarity, for new MVPs monthly,
right?
For renewals yearly.
Yearly. That's right.
If I'm an existing MVP,
right,
and I just got my award in January,
right?
When does the re-award happen?
Right. So because we're shifting now, over the first year plus, we're all going to have to snap to that same schedule. So to walk through it, if you are a January MVP, congratulations, you've just been re-awarded. You will not come up for renewal in July. Instead, it will be July of 2018, not July of 2017.
I see.
If you were considered an April MVP, you might have noticed that we haven't been asking you to make sure your contributions are up to date, and that's because you'll be part of now the July cycle.
Got it.
A July MVP, that's straightforward, still part of the July cycle, except it's annual. And for the October MVPs, they will actually come up for renewal in July 2018.
I see.
So contributions will need to lock by March 31st of 2018, and people will be evaluated relative to the length of contribution that they had. So if it was 18 months, then they'll be evaluated on that 18-month time frame. If it was 12 months, then they'll be evaluated based on that 12-month time frame. So we think that's the right thing to do to be fair to everybody in the process.
So just to be clear, every month new MVPs will come in.
That's right.
If you were awarded in January, there's a specific timetable, when you get renewed. And so the process is different whether it's a new or renewed.
That's right.
Love it.
That's right.
So now that I'm in the program, let's just say I'm in there, are there any improvements? Because there's been some interesting things that you had to do as an MVP. What are some things we're doing to help?
Sure. So we're trying to make the process of being an MVP a lot easier. So it starts when becoming an MVP or being renewed as an MVP. So we've had, first of all, this separate website experience, mvpaward.com, where people go to access their benefits and claim them. And so we now have integrated that experience into the MVP site. So that should make things a lot easier for people as they're getting set up. Then as they go along, there's been this nagging issue of how do I report what I'm doing back to Microsoft? And it's been really clumsy and hard and time consuming. So we started to take some steps to make it easier. Several months back, we released a bookmarklet feature that allows you straight from your browser to share work that you've done, maybe a blog on your own blog site. And now we're making a much bigger step forward in responding to requests that we've had from the MVP community for quite some time. So MVPs have asked us, say, hey, just provide me an API and I'll be able to figure out how to, push data into your system. So with this API, people have access to their profile data and their contribution data. So you can picture a scenario where, say, from a mobile app, you'll be able to enter your contributions directly by calling to this API. We're releasing a sample of that mobile app, but there are a whole bunch of scenarios that you can imagine our MVPs will just take up. So whether it's, for example, doing a plugin for WordPress, or doing a PowerShell extension, we just want to support the flexibility for MVPs to really provide this information in as real-time basis as possible. So there shouldn't be something where you have to think about at the end of the year, hey, what did I do? How do I go tell Microsoft and look back and try to figure it out? We want to know as you're doing it. And we want to know because the more we know, the more we can support what you're doing in the market as it's happening, based on your technology interest and your geography and the types of activities that you're doing. So that's the real goal. It's not meant to be just something to evaluate whether you qualify or requalify. It's really about how can we do more and support each other as we go. So that's the intent behind it. We're super thankful. We've had support from MVPs in this process. We did some hacking at the last summit. Daron, who's an MVP from Turkey, has been really helping to spearhead this effort. So he's released a video that we're sharing out with folks. So the API is available today for people to look at. We encourage everybody to look at it. And then we're also providing some samples to go with it as well.
I love the idea of an API because technical people will go to great lengths to not go to great lengths. And APIs are the best way to do that because now I can real time just like say, hey, I gave a talk. Just make an app, say I gave a talk. This is how many people were there, submit.
That's right.
And even take a picture or something. I love the idea of being able to do that because I hardly remember what I did last week. Imagine asking an MVP to account for a whole year now that we're doing a sort of a re-award every year.
That's right. It's been painful, and MVPs have been asking for an API for quite some time. So we're giving it a shot, and we're really eager to get the feedback.
So when is it coming out? Because that's what I really want to know because I want to start hacking on it.
It's out, so you can get started. No excuses.
I love it. So we talked about agility. I love that we mentioned now new MVPs every month, renewals every year. We talked about sort of this cool API that's out now that you should look at. But the second thing you mentioned was this notion of learning.
Right.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right. So when we think about really the benefits of the program, we tend to think about them in three categories. One is learning. Our MVPs are always learning, looking to stay on the cutting edge. We think about access to technology and software and cloud services. We try to support that with our benefits. And then we think about the recognition, right? Recognition for the great work that MVPs do back to the community, expressing the passion they have. These series of updates and announcements are really focused on the learning side.
Awesome. So what do you mean? I mean, learning, because I think I can think of a couple of things learning. I can think of I go somewhere to learn something, I go online to learn something, or I use some other benefits. Tell us about what you can
MVPs learn in all kinds of ways. Some of them come to Channel 9, some do a whole bunch of more kind of formal learning mechanisms. The first benefit that we're announcing, which will be available to all MVPs, comes to us through the Xamarin team within Microsoft.
Awesome.
So they're making their Xamarin University offer available. That's something that costs $1,000 in the market. That will be free to all MVPs. And that's really exciting because there are over 80 instructor-led and online tutorials that are meant to help people. If you're a .NET developer and you're just looking to get started in mobile development, or maybe you've been doing mobile development for a really long time. So whatever your expertise level is, Xamarin University helps take your skills to the next level. So we're super thankful to the team for investing in MVPs and providing this benefit. And we're happy to make it available for everyone to take advantage of.
Awesome. Now you can really build a mobile app on top of the MVP API with now the new learned stuff you got from Xamarin.
There you go.
But the thing about MVPs and the thing about being a professional is that there's also this notion of being certified. Is there anything we're doing with that?
Right. So on the certification side, in certifications, you continue to have an important role in the market. And as I travel around the world, definitely in some countries, they take on an even greater significance. So we felt like it was important to make an investment there. And we've partnered with our learning and certifications team inside of Microsoft to offer a benefit to all MVPs, which gives them 2 MCP exams at a 50% discount per year. And so that's available to everyone. And then with that, there's also an opportunity to have instructor-led preparation before the exam, delivered in a similar way that we deliver our PGIs today, to really support, not only improving your skills, but also being recognized for the development of their skills in the market. So we're excited to make that offer too.
Awesome. So the other thing is we talked about sort of online learning, we talked about certifications. I love going to conferences. I love interacting with MVPs. I love being there.
You
and learning new stuff.
You do. I approve your T&E budget. You clearly love to be out there.
Thank you. Yeah. What about for MVPs? Are we going to do anything to help them go to Build, Ignite, or any other places?
Sure, absolutely. Build, Ignite, those are key conferences for us. Microsoft has just put more into having these major events become more and more important every year. Build is one where it sells out really quickly, and MVPs, some have made it in, some have been frustrated for not being able to get in. This year, we're going to offer early registration available to MVPs. We want to make sure that they're a part of this event. This is a time where you get the insider view, first access to information, engaging directly with the engineering teams, and that situation is just right for our MVP community. So we want to make sure that they have the presence there that they deserve. So we're happy to be able to offer this to our MVP community.
And that's for Build. For Ignite, are we doing anything?
And for Ignite, we'll continue to do this as we go forward as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So then the other thing that MVPs always love going to, and I love being here for it, is MVP Summit.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
The MVP Global Summit. So huge event for us. We literally look forward to it throughout the year, coming out of one summit and going into the next one. But we have received some feedback.
Okay.
Feedback is you tell us too late. You announce it too late. It's hard to make arrangements. Sometimes there are conflicts and so on. So we want to err on the side of being early.
Okay.
So right now we're announcing the dates of our next MVP Summit, and that will be March 4th through 7th. 2018.
Oh, okay. So you said March, and I was like, that's kind of a little early, but you're saying March.
March.
Yes,
that's right. March. That's right. So, and the reason we're doing it is, we did receive feedback on this last summit kind of coming right after Ignite,
Right.
that there was a lot of similar content. And so we really want to start to space the summit between our two big events,
Of course.
and not too closely to Ignite. And by announcing it now, we hope that people will be able to make their arrangements accordingly, not just around travel and so on, but our MVPs are often organizing events, and we want to minimize the amount of conflicts in the market. So we want to just sort of forecast that out, and we hope to see as many people as possible at our 2018 summit.
So save the date.
Save it.
It's right there. But some people can't go to MVP Summit.
That's right. That's
so
right.
what are we doing for them?
You got it. So Summit's been growing every year. We kind of set a new record every year, but still, it's just over half of our MVP community who comes to Redmond for Summit. So we want to make sure that we are taking events locally to the community as well. And so we will be having a series of MVP community connection events. And this is about coming together as a community. It's something that we've been doing over the past few years. This year, there are going to be a couple of changes. So while the MVP Summit is really about going deep on the technology, here we view this opportunity as a chance to not only do great networking among the community, but really invest in more of the soft skills development.
I see.
So the kinds of things that MVPs are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, like what does it take to successfully organize and manage a community, right? So those kinds of skills that are absolutely really critical where there are some challenges that we just see day to day. So there'll be a big focus on that, big focus on networking, but also we'll be doing something the evening before each of these events to integrate members of a new program that we recently announced, and that's our Reconnect program. And this is a program that brings together all former MVPs because they told us, hey, we miss that connection. We miss connecting with each other. We miss connecting with you all. So we want to recognize great contributions that they made and support this desire for connection. And so we'll bring them together as part of the evening experience. Not only Reconnect members, but we'll also have RDs as part of this event as well.
I love it. Hopefully he'll let me go. So tell him to approve my T&E because this sounds like awesome events. By the way, the MVPs are probably some of the best people that I've met. Technical people, I love hanging out with them. They're my peeps, as I like to say. So we have a global summit happening in March of 2018. We have MVP Community Connection that are happening. How many of these events are there? Is it going to be all around the world?
All around the world. We'll have 20 of these events around the world. So really looking forward to that, and that will be happening this spring.
Awesome. Maybe they'll let me go. I'm so excited. So now the other thing that's really cool about the MVP program are the benefits. There's some interesting benefits that come from third parties. Why don't you talk about those?
Exactly. So MVPs, support each other, and that's been great to see. And so often, as part of partner organizations and ISVs, they make their offerings available to the MVP community. And we found that there always wasn't great awareness of what was out there for MVPs. So there are a set of benefits, as you said, not offered by Microsoft. They're not Microsoft sponsored, but we want to make sure our MVPs are aware of them. So we're bringing them together into our MVP site. So there's one place to go so people can see all the benefits that are available for them to check out.
And this is just something that some software vendor that's a partner of ours, out of the goodness of their heart, said, hey, if you're an MVP, we want you to have this.
That's right.
This is not something we do. We just sort of collect all of those and put them here.
That's right. So these are some examples here that we have today, and we're deeply appreciative of partners who are offering these benefits to the MVP community, and we want to make sure that our MVPs are taking full advantage of them if they want.
Awesome. Are there any new partnerships that we'd like to announce today?
Yes. So there is a new partnership with Guru, and it's we're excited about this model because it's a way for MVPs to automatically have premium access to this set of services within this portal environment. And what it enables is for an MVP to really get some support in terms of their skills development, professional development, career development, over time exposure to opportunities around consulting gigs. And one of the cool things about it is the fact that MVPs have achieved that MVP status that automatically carries over and earns them an expert badge.
That's awesome.
As part of this environment. So it raises their level of influence. raises the recognition that they get for being part of this community. And, as I mentioned, kind of one of the key things that we want to do is support the recognition of MVPs for the great work that they do. So this is, another way for us to, try out kind of further supporting our MVPs, and we're eager to see how it goes.
I love how MVPs sort of put all this effort into sort of promoting and working on the technology that we build, and it feels like the MVP program is a way to reinvest back in them.
They do. MVPs are a truly special group in that they're not only experts, but these are people who take time out of their day to strengthen the community. And so we feel like we have a real obligation to support such giving people who are giving back to the community. So we want to do what we can to really increase the value of what it means to be an MVP and show just how thankful and appreciative we are of the work that they do.
2 more questions to finish up. The first one is, how can MVPs give feedback to the stuff we're doing?
Sure. So MVPs are very vocal.
We love it. That's how we like them, right?
We want to continue to encourage that. So they give feedback today primarily through Yammer, and then also their community program managers who are based around the world. And so they should continue to be very vocal with their feedback and know that we have a team of folks who are working also hard back here in Redmond to support all of you. They look at that feedback. We have a process for bringing it back here and then working through that list. And so MVPs have been instrumental in guiding the changes that we've made, the updates that we're making now. And this is really, we see it as just the start. And so we want to continue to evolve in a way that works best for our MVPs.
I love it. I've met a lot of the community program managers. They are amazing people. You should talk to them. And now the last question. We have this piece of glass on here.
That's
for
right.
those that have never seen this, what is this and what is that little ring on the side?
So that ring reflects the update that we're making to the program.
Okay.
So as I said, there isn't this distinction between, these quarters. And we would find, actually, even previously in the past, by the time somebody would get their ring, it almost become outdated into the new year. So now we're a unified community, unified program. This shows you the award and the ring that you'll get in the coming year. So in July, everybody will receive this new box and be part of the 2017 and 2018 MVP program. So this is meant to reflect how we're all moving to the same program, and we'll be able to share this together.
That's a beautiful piece of glass, my friend. So you get that as an MVP, and then you get the ring, and every year you're renewed. It just stacks up. What happens if it overflows? What do we do then?
Well, there's always more hardware that we can ship.
I
So
love it.
that's a problem we like to have.
Awesome.
Let's say.
Any
Okay.
final words for those that are watching?
Right. No, just a big thank you. Keep the feedback coming, and we're going to keep trying to do our best to serve you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for spending
Great.
some
Thanks,
time with
Seth.
us. We've been learning all about the MVP program, some awesome changes. My name is Seth Juarez. This is Channel 9. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.